guys, Shorty for Console Service Center. Today I'm going to do a quick video for you guys on why the PS4 Pro's fan picks up or gets loud. You know, the fan gets loud while you're playing, especially games with higher graphics. You'll see that it does pick up. There is a fix to it. It's not an easy fix, but I'm going to show you anyway. That you might be lucky. It depends on what country you're in a country you're in. Maybe you can actually get this fix for it done. But first of all, what I want to tell you is it's not all the models that actually have this problem. It is a flaw that we found in the PS4 Pros, and we repair hundreds of these. As you know, we at Console Service Center we do PS4s, Xboxes, you know, we specialize in repairs on them. So we've done hundreds. Really, there's been a lot of these that we've done already, and we've tried everything on the PS4 Pro, the first gen. So that's the trick. Is there's 3 generations of PS4 Pros. A lot of people don't know this, but there's 3 different models in them. So in this video I'm going to show you quickly and tell you a little bit more about the problem and why the PS4 Pro actually overheats or the fan picks up. I don't think it's really overheating as such, but I think it's definitely a problem with the fan sensor on the main board itself. But there, like I said, there is another little fix you can do to it. So yeah, before we carry on, can I ask you please just to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button, the thumbs up button, and yeah, I'll bring out a couple more videos on a couple of reviews and things like that, so you guys can see a little bit more about the gaming side. Anyway, let's get started. So the PS4 Pro, there's 3 versions. The model numbers on them start with, on all PS4s, start with CUH. Okay, the first gen was CUH-70. Then they came out with the second generation PS4 Pro, which was the CUH-71. Okay, starts with 71. And then the last one they brought out that we've seen come through the shop is a CUH-72. Okay, it starts with a CUH-72. After the 70, 71, 72, all of them have like a two other numbers behind it. Okay, but don't worry about that. Just look at the CUH-7. What's after that? 1, 0, or 3. So the CUH-71 model is a problem machine. Okay, it came out with the issue where the fan would pick up during playing games. So just a quick one, just to show you where to find the model number on these. There's 2 steps, as you know, on the PS4 Pros. The model number is in the inside here. This side will be like a barcode with a serial number, and then in the inside, if you look inside, there's like a little sticker with like a, I don't know, it's like a, shows you that there's laser. I don't think you're going to be able to see it very nicely. It's very difficult to actually see it, but there where your power point is, basically where your power point is right there. Just above that, there's a little sticker inside there with that will start with a 7, CUH-7 something. Okay, 70, 71, 73. So the CUH-70 is the problem one, and the fan does pick up. So I think it's to do with the fan sensor on the main board itself. I think the PS4 picks up the heat that it gets. When it gets to a certain temperature, and the fan starts going crazy. It really sounds like a vacuum cleaner, right? Or like the planes that come overhead, yeah, making a hell of a noise. The CUH-73 model, the power plug. Let's just try and get you guys a bit close to it. The plug where you plug in the power is also a smaller plug. It's a figure 8 plug that gets used on that. So that's also how you will know if you have the CUH-73 model. It will have the 2-pin power plug here, just like a 2-pin little figure 8. They call it a figure 8. So that's how you also know the 71 and the 70 model has the big plug, like they call it a kettle plug, the big plug. So that's one of the problems on it. Now, the quick fix, or what most people are saying on the internet, okay, is and most of them don't know what they're talking about. I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos, and it's a bit of a joke. These guys don't really have experience in doing the repairs or anything, so they're just trying to make some video to get some clickbait and get people to watch it. But what happens is the 7.3, let's leave the CUH out for now, but the 7.0 model, let me quickly open this PS4 so you guys can see. It actually opens quite easily, the Pros. You just clip that open, slide it backwards towards you, and it actually comes, the top cover comes off. Alright, so now you can see from the top, that's your CD drive, and there's your fan, and this is your power supply right here. Alright, so the 7.0 and 7.1 models, the fan itself has 19 blades, okay, 19 blades. Now, the way to fix this problem, what the guys are doing, it's just very, very difficult to find these fans, but they're changing the fan out with the 7.3 model fan, okay. This seems to have sorted out the problem on a lot of the consoles. We haven't done one yet because we haven't had that many 7.3 models in yet to actually check if this is a quick fix, so we can swap the fan out quickly and put it on the 7.01 model and see if it actually helps. But the guys are saying that you can change this fan to a Delta fan, they're calling it. They call it a Delta fan. I know it's got fewer blades. I think it's only got 9 blades. So 9 or 12, sorry, I think it's 12 blades. So this is 19 fins on the fan, and that one has 12 fins on the fan. And I think the reason why they've done it that way is because if you look at these fins, I'm going to try and give you a little bit of a better picture there. But if you look at the fins, they're very straight, so they're very upright. They're not really at an angle. So I think that could be where the problem is. And you could see how thin this cover is. So what happens is there's not a lot of ventilation that actually, there's not a lot of space for this fan to get rid of the heat. But what it does do is the PS4s, okay, this is the front, the back, but what the PS4s do is they actually suck air in from the sides, and then they suck it into it will all go towards the fan, the air, and then what it does is it blows it through the heat sink that's here. That's got a whole little fins also. It's like a heat sink that cools, that's on the main processor, it's bolted onto the main processor, and it comes out the back of the console. All the hot air will get channeled along to get out the back, okay? Now, very interesting, I actually went and got one of the Xbox One fans, and as everybody knows, the Xbox One had a problem with the red ring of death, red light of death, red dot of death, whatever you want to call it. And they made quite a few changes on the Xbox Ones. What they did was they put a much bigger fan in. I mean, you can actually see the size between the PS4 and the Xbox One fan. This has sorted out a lot of the problems on the Xbox One. They don't overheat anymore. But what I want to show you, which I find quite interesting, is if you have a look at the fins itself, they're very flat. They're at an angle, so they're not upright little fins going all the way around. You know, the upright little fins. They're actually quite flat. They're quite flat, these fins. So I think that what that does is, and it should be normal. I mean, when it's on, that will actually extract a lot more heat, or blow in a lot more heat because of the angle of the fan. You know, it's like sweeping it. So I think that's why they might have changed the fan on the 7.3 models on the PS4 Pros, because they had to put in fewer fins so they could get that angle down a little bit on the fin to make space between the fins. So that's probably why there's only a 12 fin fan now that they put in the 7.3 model. So that's just my conclusion. So if you can, look for a PS4 Pro 7.3, CUH 7.3 model. If you can buy an old one or a scrap one, or one that's not working, and you can take that fan out and put it inside your 7.01 or 7.0 model, CUH 7.0. The CUH 7.1 model wasn't too bad. We haven't had too many issues with it. But yeah, I have heard people that have come in and they've had problems with it. What we usually then do is, and this is very, 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 very important, is that you need to service your PlayStation 4, actually any gaming console. You need to service them at least once a year. If you don't service them, you are going to have problems. Okay, these fans clog up like you cannot believe. I'm going to try and see if I can show you this quickly. If you look at the side of the PS4, I don't have a light or something I can show you to shine it in there, but there's all vents there on both sides. So these vents, what they do is they, this is where your air comes in, goes inside, the fan sucks it in and it blows it out the back. So on the back, you can't really see on this one so nicely, but what the PS4 does is it blows, yeah, I can't actually show you that, but what the PS4 does is it blows all the hot air out the back. So this is why a lot of people want to know why they have problems with their power supplies blowing, or even you know, it's overheating and things like that. So you saw how I clipped off the cover on the PS4 Pro. It's actually very easy. Like I said, you just pull up from the front. So you'll see it's got little brackets in the back there. But anyway, what you do is it actually slides in like that and it clips down. So the same procedure when you're taking the top cover off, you just clip it back in. You hear a clip and you hear a clip. Okay, so that's back in nicely now. So again, I'm going to show you this quickly. I hope you guys can see this. Again, let's just, you clip it from the sides. You can clip it from the front or the sides. You'll actually see the corner lift. So there it's clipped off, all right? You can see there's a gap, it's open, but don't pull it now, because what's going to happen is you're going to break off the back clip. So all you do is you lift it slightly, push the cover back with your fingers, so in a backwards motion, slide the cover, pull it off, okay? So the cover's off now. So there you go, PS4 cover's off. So all you need to do now is just have a look at the fan, just to see what it's doing. If you really want to, you ever plug it in, switch it on, check what's happening with the fan, if it's turning. Maybe your fan's not turning at all. Maybe the fan is actually seized up, and that's where your problem is. Then you can just put in a normal, your normal fan again, if you can find one. The 7.0 models or the 7.1 model fans are much easier to find because the older consoles have been out for a while, so there's a lot of spares available for them. The 7.3 model hasn't been out that long, so you battle to get extra fans on them. But yeah, I think that's the first thing. What you can do, and please, I want you to listen to me very carefully now, don't use air to blow the fan. You know, my videos are non-technical videos. Okay? I don't show you guys how to strip it down. I've had too many guys come here that they've tried to open the consoles themselves. They try to get down to the bottom of the console or get the power supply, and they've broken off the clips off the board. If you have a look at this, on this Xbox One fan, it's very similar. Little plugs that come out on all the consoles. They've got this little plug, and that little plug on the fans, what happens is with that little plug, it actually clips in. So when it's in, it clips into the main board, okay, to start turning the fan, and the sensor tells the fan how fast to spin or how slow to spin or how hot it is, how cold it is. So what happens is when the guys are pulling these out, the power supply also has one on the PS4. When they're pulling it out, they're actually breaking off the other end that's on the board. They're actually breaking it off the board, they're tearing it out, and then it becomes quite expensive repair. So I would rather say don't strip it down. That's why I don't even show you videos how to strip it down. I'm not going to get into that. I don't want you to damage your console, and I don't want to get blamed, because it's not easy to open these. You need special screwdrivers and all that type of things. But like I say, what you can do is don't blow, okay? Don't blow air in it. That's the worst thing you can do. So all these wonderful YouTube videos, clickbait videos, will get you to watch the videos, are showing you a can of air and telling you to blow your console clean, okay? Blow it clean. Please don't do that. Can I give you a tip? Use a vacuum cleaner, all right? And I'm going to tell you why. With a vacuum cleaner, well, okay, let's start with the blowing it. So if you had to take the cover off, and your console is quite old already, you can't really see, but inside here there's a heatsink that's got horrible fins, and these fins get clogged up with fluff. All right, because it's drawing air in and it's blowing it through. So it's drawing it in and blowing it, trying to blow it through the console to get a cooler, trying to get it through the heatsink. So that fluff actually clogs up that whole section there, or it clogs up the fan. So all you do is, when you're blowing it, you are blowing all that fluff back inside the power supply. Alright, so now your power supply is in the back, where you're blowing air in, all that air is going and it's sitting inside the power supply. So what's happening? Fluff and dust creates a short. It will short out your power supply eventually. If one of those little fluff bunnies, or whatever they want to call it, fluff bunny, I think it's called a fluff bunny, gets stuck in between two components in the power supply, it's going to short out and you're going to blow your power supply. So don't listen to what these guys are showing you on YouTube on blowing it with air. It doesn't work, okay? The only way we use air, yes we do, but we take the whole machine apart in all its components. It'll probably be almost half this table full of components, and we blow out individually. We blow everything out properly. That's a different story, because you're not blowing it from one thing into the other. So we're stripping it right down to the main board, we're blowing the board clean, we're cleaning the fan, we're cleaning the power supply on the inside. You know, with a full service, what we even do is we actually even take a CD drive and we strip it down. We put oil on the gears, we re-oil the little guides that the laser runs on. Yeah, so we do a full service. Then the main thing that we do is we also replace the thermal paste. The thermal paste is between your heatsink and the main processor. So all it does is basically just paste you put on your processor, and your heatsink comes down and it puts pressure on it. The reason why there's thermal paste on processors, on PCs, laptops, any processor, I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to explain it to you. It's basically because two pieces of metal are maybe never completely flush. They never make full contact right through. So I wish I had something to show you guys. I just don't have my. I haven't stripped one down to show you guys. But the processor, what it is basically a piece of metal. So the hardy guys to here. It's a piece of metal about, I don't know, it's probably about that big, on top of the main processor, and the heatsink actually makes contact on top of that processor. So by a rule of thumb, or generally, if it's not engineered precisely, two pieces of metal can never make contact fully on those two squares. So let's imagine two squares, you put two pieces of metal squares down. They can never make a proper flat connection. So what the thermal paste does is, when you're putting the thermal paste on the one side, when you're pushing the other piece of metal down, the thermal paste creates like a full seal between the two pieces of metal, okay? So that you never have a spot where it might be touching a little bit more than another spot on the two pieces. So the thermal paste still transfers the heat through. Because what will happen is, if only the one side's touching, the heat sink's touching onto the metal of the processor, that's not going to help, because what happens is only the heat will come out on the one side of the processor and not the full processor. So that's why they put thermal paste on, to keep it flush, and the thermal paste will also help it draw all the heat out of the processor and draw it into the heatsink, so that the fan can blow through the heatsink and keep it cooler. So that's a little bit more technical data that I gave you there, but I hope that helps you a little bit to understand a little bit more why they use thermal paste. And that's also to do with the fan getting loud. It's not to say that if you clean out your fan or clean out your console that your fan will stop getting loud or being loud or picking up when you're playing a game. The thermal paste itself might need to be replaced. It might be old. And we found a lot of the older consoles, and when you get an older PS3s, that's never coming for a service like they should once a year. You need to service your console once a year. So what happens is that thermal paste gets so hard, it gets like a chappy, almost like a chewing chappy. It gets like it's almost like it doesn't stretch, but it's almost like it's not gooey even anymore. It's not even wet. It actually gets like a little bit hard, like a piece of press stick. I don't know what you guys would call it in other countries, but press stick is what you'd stick up calendars with on a wall. It gets like that texture. So what you want to do is, it needs to be liquid form, so that when it gets hot, it will actually it will go a little bit to a liquid, so it gives a bit more of a heat transfer, or it goes a little bit more of a pasty. But what will happen is, yes, so yeah, so when it gets harder, you need to replace it. Now, one other thing I need to really tell you guys is if you're going to, especially if you're going to try and attempt to do thermal paste, we had a supplier, we actually changed suppliers, we had thermal paste, and we changed our suppliers, but what happened was the thermal paste we were getting from these guys, we thought it was an excellent thermal paste. I think it would have worked on the PS3s because they've got a full plate that covers the whole main process, and where the PS4s have a smaller plate with little resistors and diodes that around that plate. What was happening is this thermal paste had fine pieces of metal in it. It's a very fine metal that tries to maybe help get the heat through the thermal paste. And what was happening is those fine little pieces of metal were actually going on the sides of the processor. And they were leaking over the plate, and they were touching those diodes or the little capacitors in it, and they were shorting out the processes. So be very careful what thermal paste to use. It is so dangerous to use just any thermal paste. Don't get something cheap. I think there's one that they used to use on the Xboxes. It's also a silver one. Don't use it. Don't use anything that looks silver. If you do get, try and maybe wipe it on your finger and have a look at it, shine it in a light, or shine with your cell phone's flash or your cell phone's light or a bright light, and just see if you can see if it looks like there's any metal flakes in there. If there's any metal flakes in there, don't use that thermal paste. It will short out your processor, and it's going to cost you a lot more money to repair after just trying to do a service or replacing it. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And please, can I ask you again, like this video if you think it was interesting and it was helpful to you guys, and I hope it is, because I'm going to try and make my videos a bit more, I'm going to make them as helpful as possible for you guys, so that you can understand the concepts between certain things and why they do it in the PlayStations and Xboxes. So please like my video. I think it's on that side or that side. Just hit the little thumbs up button, and please hit the subscribe, so you can see a couple more videos. I'm going to show you guys a whole lot of tips. You know, the next problem that we want to show you guys is the sleeve drive problem, where you'd still be playing a game and it will just start ejecting the disc by itself. We've actually heard of instances where consoles, when they're just standing, they just come on by themselves, you know, and that's all to do with CD drive. So I'm going to show you another video on how to fix that also. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Chat to you guys later. Enjoy it. Bye.